Hey guys, Morgan the Rebellious Reviewer. We talk about all things music. And today, we're gonna be doing another Battle of the Bands. This time we're talking about pop punk titans Blink-182 and Sum 41. Now, if you haven't seen a video in this series before, basically what I do is I compare the first album to the first album, the second album to the second album, etc. And whoever wins the most battles wins. So let's get started with their debuts. Those being Blink-182's Cheshire Cat and Sum 41's All Killer No Filler. Now this is a really easy one for me, because even though Cheshire Cat has a few good songs, All Killer No Filler is just amazing. Like, Sum 41 were great right from the start. Blink-182, it took them a little while to get there, in my opinion. Like, the production on that Blink-182 album is really rough. Like, I have similar problems to it that I have to the first two Green Day albums. And also, the last 3 songs on Cheshire Cat suck. Anyway, All Killer No Filler is just great. Like, Into Deep, Motivation, Fat Lip, come on. It's a pop-punk classic for a reason. But anyway, let's move on to their sophomore albums. Blink-182's Dude Ranch versus Does This Look Infected by Sum 41. Now, these two were a little bit harder to figure out, because they're both good albums this time around. Like, Dude Ranch I hadn't listened to in full prior to listening to it for this video, but man, it's good. Like, yeah, there's some goofy moments, but yeah, it's great. And Does This Look Infected has always been one of my favorite Sum 41 albums. And yeah, as much as I hate to do this to Dude Ranch, I'm going with Does This Look Infected. Yup, Sum 41 just won 2 in a row, but seriously, this is the album with Over My Head Better Off Dead, the Hell song, Still Waiting, My Direction, Billy Spleen, like, my god. Yeah, this album's incredible. And Dude Ranch, while it is great, Blink-182 would get better on later albums. But on the topic of that, let's talk about the third albums, including Enema of the State by Blink-182 and Chuck by Sum 41. Now, this was probably the hardest one of all, because both of these albums are fantastic. Enema of the State is a classic full of great songs, and Chuck is just so underrated, and it's also full of great songs. This is the album where they became a bit more metal. In the end, though, I had to give it to Enema of the State, because All the Small Things, Adam's song, What's My Age Again, Dumpweed, like, my god, this thing is stacked. I just love Enema of the State, despite the fact that its name is incredibly stupid. Yeah, that's a trend with Blink-182. But I love Enema of the State even more than I love Chuck. So, Blink-182 wins this round. For the fourth albums, we have Blink-182's Take Off Your Pants and Jacket versus Sum 41's Underclass Hero. Now, this one was super easy, because I love Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. It's full of great songs like Roller Coaster, First Date, Anthem Part 2, just so many great songs. Meanwhile, Underclass Hero has exactly 2 great songs, those being the title track and Walking Disaster. Everything else after that ranges from okay to what the hell were you thinking? So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Underclass Hero, and I am a big fan of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, so Blink-182 wins this round. Now, on to the 5th albums. Those being Blink-182's Untitled and Sum 41's Screaming Bloody Murder. Now, here's my controversial opinion. I'm not a big fan of Blink-182's Untitled. Like, it has some good songs. I Miss You is great, and there's a couple other great ones, but overall, a lot of it just kind of sounds the same and is kind of boring. Like, it's okay, it's not bad, and it is a lot better than Screaming Bloody Murder, I'll say that. Because, to be totally honest with you, Screaming Bloody Murder is probably my least favorite out of all of these albums. Because it's just so boring. Like, what were Sum 41 thinking with this one? Yeah, Sum 41 had a bit of a rough period in the late 2000s, early 2010s. But Blink-182, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of the Untitled one, it's definitely better than Screaming Bloody Murder. Up next we have Neighborhoods by Blink-182 versus 13 Voices by Sum 41. Now this one was a little bit harder, actually, because I do like both of these albums. That said, while Neighborhoods has a few really great moments and is generally solid throughout, 13 Voices by Sum 41 is just great. It's the better of the two. Like, I absolutely love 13 Voices. I have it on vinyl, and it is so underrated. Songs like There Will Be Blood, War, 13 Voices, Breaking the Chain, I think it's called. Yeah. Sum 41 wins this one. Up next we have California by Blink-182 versus Order and Decline by Sum 41. Now, for this one, it was easy, because California is my least favorite Blink-182 album, I think. Yeah, it sounds a bit too Imagine Dragons-y for my taste. Meanwhile, Order and Decline is legit great. So, yeah, Sum 41 wins again. And now we have the battle of the 8th albums. Blink-182's 9 versus Sum 41's Heaven and Hell. Now, 9 is okay. It has some good songs. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. Dark Side, Black Rain. There's some great songs on here. Unfortunately, Sum 41's Heaven and Hell is just a lot better. Yeah, Blink-182 may have some good songs on their album, but they also have Blame It On My Youth on there, and some other songs that drag it down. Sum 41's Heaven and Hell, meanwhile, is a great send-off to the band, actually. It's their final album from last year, and I love the concept of the first half sounding like their first album, all killer, no filler, and then their second half of it sounding more like their later albums. Like, that's a unique idea, and they do both sounds well. And then, we're not done yet, though, because Blink-182 have one extra album that I'm also going to compare to Heaven and Hell. That being One More Time. Now, One More Time is... my opinions on it are pretty similar to 9. And if you know how to count, you already know who's winning this battle anyway, so I'll just keep this short. Sum 41 wins. And yeah, One More Time, I kind of have similar thoughts on to 9, only it's not quite as good in my opinion. I actually prefer 9 a little bit. But there's a lot of songs on here that just drag it down, like they're trying to be old, immature Blink, and yeah, they don't pull it off anymore. And again, Heaven and Hell is a really good album, so I'm gonna have to give it to Sum 41. So, we have reached the end, so who wins in total? That would be Sum 41. 6-3. Yeah. Believe me, guys, I'm surprised too. I thought Blink-182 would win because they're more legendary and whatnot. They've been around longer. But honestly, Sum 41 is a bit more consistent. Like, sure, they had that rough spot in the late 2000s, early 2010s, but other than that, they're a great band. And, yeah, I think they're better than Blink, even though they, let's face it, they probably wouldn't exist without Blink-182. So, no disrespect to Blink-182, they have some great albums, and some of these were really close, but Sum 41 is just a tiny bit better in my opinion, which actually makes sense given that I discovered them first. Anyway, that's my video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm Morgan the Rebellious Reviewer, and I'm out.